Well, hello, thanks for popping by and spending some time with me again, or if it's your first time here, welcome. My name is Vanessa Lee. Oh my gosh, it has suddenly just got boiling hot in here. Some exciting things to show you today. I was planning on doing a Anthurium repotting day, but you're soon going to see why I'm not going to be repotting. We've got a lot of new leaves. And so I'm going to have to wait for that to happen, you know. I brought some over, the ones that are kind of generally tucked away in the shelf that are going to be hard for me to show you. So yeah, let me show you what's on the table next to me. I'm going to start with one of my newest little babies. This is my Anthurium Pappy. I'll put the full name up because I don't actually know how to say it. Look how gorgeous these leaves are. How stunning is that? They're so dark and shimmery and all things gorgeous. We've got a new one kind of busy expanding at the moment. It'll be interesting to see what kind of size that gets to. So there are actually several plants in this pot. Can you see? So at some stage I will separate those plants, and I think that new leaf is attached to a smaller plant. Yeah, I'm over the moon that I got this. This was actually a gift from Grow Tropicals. They reached out to me. So they sent me this one after watching my videos. They discovered obviously that I do have some anthuriums and I do pretty well with them. I find them generally quite easy. So I just feel super blessed to have this because it is a plant that I've wanted for quite some time. And for those of you that don't know, I am currently out of work. I was made redundant quite a few months ago, 7 months ago, no longer, 8 months ago, and I've been out of work. But in between that whole scenario, some other things happened in my life. Yeah, so I'm not really buying plants, so this was a very welcomed gift, because my money is just going on bills right now. So I was just so pleased to receive this. Earlier leaves are just so dinky and adorable, perfectly heart-shaped. And then as it matures, this leaf is going to get much longer and darker and all the things. So when it first arrived, I took it out of its box. I put it in very medium lighting because I didn't want to shock the plant. And it's now living on a plant shelf that has lights, but this one does get direct sunlight, just in bursts 2 or 3 times throughout the day. And I'll show you where it lives just now. But I love that one. Oh my gosh. Good things, good things. So yeah, I repotted that plant as soon as I got it, because I mean the plant's already stressed out. Some people say the complete opposite, that you should wait. But my other thing is that if the soil has any mozzie gnats in there or any kind of, you know, wherever they're growing, there's going to be a lot of plants all in one space. And, you know, unfortunately, maybe 1 out of 100 will have a pest. So I do always replace the soil. And I've always had great results from doing that. And it went into a chunky aeroid mix with some tree fern fibre, and in fact all of my anthuriums are in the same mix. And I also put sphagnum moss on the top. I think you can see they all get the same treatment. This little guy I had for I think 6 months, about 6 months. It is a hybrid. It's a cross between Zara X Michelle X Bassier, and yeah, it has quite pillowy leaves and definitely a different type of shape. Like the earlobes, as you can see, like quite a distance. They kind of like cat-like. It has a cat-like presence about it, which is very cute. I wouldn't say that we're getting on really well. We're definitely getting to know each other. But I did notice it got a new leaf. This one doesn't need repotting, but Yeah, it's got a new leaf there, and it's actually in a Tupperware pot, but I've burnt some holes using a soldering iron in the bottom, and there's lacquer balls at the bottom as well. So this is kind of working as a self-watering pot, which I like. And I'll show you where it lives just now. Decided to bring this guy over here because I moved some of my plants around, as you do, like I'm constantly doing this. Plants just, you know, they tend to grow out of their spots quite quickly, especially the anthuriums with like the size of the leaves. So yeah, this one's living on my coffee table at the moment. I do need to find a better place for it, but the leaves are just crazy big. This is my Anthurium pink edge, and I must actually speak to another plant I got from Grow Tropicals. I must speak to them and ask them what the pink edge is, because it's clearly a hybrid of a crystallinum. Did I say crystallinum? Yeah, I hope I did. Yeah, so it's a hybrid of that and something else, but I don't know what the other part of the plant is. If you know, do let me know. Do you have this plant? How are you getting on with it? So I bought this one, and I also bought the Anthurium Crystallinum Super Silver, which I'll show you just now. And it is, between these two, it was the fastest to size up, and it just had like it's quite hardy, and like if I miss a watering, it doesn't kind of freak out too much. Whereas with this one, you'll get like a real yellowing kind of, I don't know if you can see that, but there is like a yellowness to one of the leaves. I think it's this one that has. So I kind of missed a watering, and then I watered, and then it was like, yeah, that's just too much water now. I wanted it last week, not this week. I don't know. But what I would say is that this is probably the only Anthurium that I have in a drainage pot. And this plant definitely needs a repot, and I think I'm going to put it back into no drainage. But can you see those roots hanging out the bottom? But we do have a new leaf coming, and that's definitely a leaf because I can see its little necky bit right there. So yay, we've got a new leaf. I'm very happy about that, but I am a little concerned that the roots now are just sat directly in the water when, you know, after I've watered this plant. Oh, got a helicopter. That's fun. Just let it go by. Yeah, so I think before I kind of move on, I also want to talk about the watering. So with the watering, I always water on top, which is why it has the sphagnum moss on the top. So with all of my other plants, I water from the bottom, apart from the Hoyas. Yeah, all of my other plants, I put water in the bottom of their pots, and I let them drink from the bottom up. And that's because I want to keep the top part of the soil dry, because I do not want certain pests kind of, you know, getting cozy in the soil. And when you water on top, you'll have maybe a lot of problems with particularly mozzie gnats. And I don't have mozzie gnats, and I definitely put that down to the bottom watering. So yeah, because I'm watering on the top with these guys, I put a layer of sphagnum moss on top, and then I can replace it if I do see any indication of any type of pest, whether it's thrips or mealybug, all the pests. I would take the top layer off, and then I'll put a fresh layer on top, and it just means that I don't actually have to throw away like the really expensive soil that's underneath. I mean, if you get a bag of tree fern fibre, it's not cheap, but it does go a long way because you're not having to put too much in. I mean, I go half and half, to be honest, but that's because I'm like bougie with my plants. But yeah, one last look at this guy. A very impressive plant, but unfortunately it just doesn't fit on the shelving. Okay, I'm gonna spin the camera around and show you all of my other anthuriums. The first plant I'm going to show you, one of my pride and joys. Let me try and get back a bit more. There we go. Look at my Anthurium Palaphorum just blowing in the breeze there. She's busy dancing. Oh, and the length of these leaves are insane. I did recently chop off all the young leaves. I had about 4 much shorter leaves. Chopped them off just so that it can have some space and energy for all these gorgeous ones. This is the latest one, and I wish I'd cut those other leaves off sooner. It is still a little bit floppy, so it could possibly expand a bit more, but it's definitely not done what the previous one. Let me show you that one. I mean, yeah, there's quite a difference between the two, but when the leaf is still kind of, you know, developing and expanding, it can take quite a few weeks before you start seeing the end result. Oh my gosh, I just love this plant. And I've actually got a cutting of this one, and it's got the cutest little leaves. If you want to see that plant, I will be doing my propagation boxes. It's either going to be before this video or after, we'll see. But yeah, that one, oh my gosh, if you don't have this plant, what are you doing? No, if you don't have this plant, I would highly suggest getting it. It definitely is, I would say, for me, one of the easiest anthuriums that I have. And I don't fuss around it. If I miss watering, it's no big deal. You know, the worst you're going to get is maybe a little bit of tippage like that. I am an underwaterer, and the anthuriums do tend to need attention on a weekly basis compared to like my philodendrons or the monstera, for instance. You know, they can go 10 days often in the summer without constant watering. Oh my gosh, a breeze. Oh, thank you. Next I'm going to show you is my Anthurium Forgetti. Now I got this as a cutting. It was a gift from a friend that I met at the Rare Plant Festival, and it's doing good. I mean, I have some more cuttings. I've been up and down with this plant where yeah, the plant has kind of produced leaves and then croaked it, and then a new sprout came out and that produced leaves, and then I saved like the stomp of the other bit, and then this is actually the saved stomp that just regrew some leaves. But I do have several more Forgetti. I think I've got 3 more from this one cutting in my propagation bin, so yeah, you might want to check out the video. It just pushed out this gorgeous little leaf. This is actually the Forgetti dark form. Look at that, kind of looks like a spider, like the way that the veins, like, it's just really gorgeous actually. In my opinion, I would say that this is a high humidity plant because the ones in the propagation bins are looking a lot darker, even though they are getting high light. So the yellowness isn't because I'm giving it too much light, and it's certainly getting enough light. I think it's a humidity thing. But look at that leaf. Wow, it's so gorgeous. So yeah, it's busy expanding right now, and it just lives there. So it's under a plant light, and it's directly in front of this southeast facing window, so it does get natural lighting. And then in the back there, I showed you just now my Zara Ex Michelle Expassier. That's where she sits. And then if we go down one, this is the Crystallinum that I was talking about, the super silver. I mean, check it out. It has 4 leaves. I actually chopped off 2 fairly recently because I just needed to get it on the shelf with some other things. And now it's on the shelf on its own because it's, you know, it's just muscled its way. It wants its own spot and it actually deserves it because it's really quite an impressive plant. Let me show you the leaf that's around the back. I've decided to grow this way, which is a bit of a pity. But hey, she is cute, hey? And what's more, there's a new leaf. There's a new leaf coming. My goodness. So yeah, I was kind of planning on, let me just show you its pot. So it's in a no drainage glass vessel, which I bought from IKEA. Oh, I feel like I'm just not doing good things there. Check out the roots. You've got leca balls at the bottom to act as a reservoir, holding the soil above so that the soil's just not constantly soggy. And the roots just want to, they just naturally navigate towards that reservoir. What was it I was going to say? Oh yeah, so I was planning on maybe doing a bottom cut from this plant, and then there would be less, there'd be less roots, and then just put it back in that pot. And I will do that eventually, but not whilst it's growing a new leaf, because yeah, you should never mess with them when they're growing new leaves. So keep an eye out. We will be doing a massive repot because I also need to do the same with this plant, which is my Anthurium Luxurians. Also, it's the dark form. Look at those ears. They're so just, they're extreme, aren't they? They're very exaggerated. The lobes are just crazy. And I really love this plant because it gives me the thing I like about it is it's similar to an alocasia, one of my favorite alocasias, but I actually don't do very well with alocasias. I don't have any. I've got one in a propagation bin, but you know, it's not on show, so I don't really count it as being a plant. Yeah, this guy is just so easy. Another very easy Anthurium. Wow, if you could see the size. Actually, you know what, I did an unboxing when I very first got my Anthuriums. I bought this one. I bought that one, the Palaphorum. I bought the Veitchii, and I bought another Warwickwienum, which I don't actually have. I've just got the butt cut. All at the same time. So check out that video. It was 2 years ago, but apparently a lot of you have seen it pop up and watched it, and you've left comments saying you enjoyed it. So if you haven't seen it, then check out that video. But yeah, these leaves are just crazy. They sized up like crazy, and like if you could see the size that it began and what it is now, yeah, it's just nuts. So yeah, another no drainage pot, and we've got a lot of roots going on in there. So I was planning on doing a bottom cut and then getting it back into that glass vessel with less, it will have less roots once I do that bottom cut. But again, we've got a new leaf, and that's definitely a leaf and not an inflorescent, because I can see its little, because I can see its little bend in there. I hope that it points this way because, oh my gosh, these guys, yeah, they need to start behaving. It can't point the other, I've got a feeling it's going to point the other way, because I've got a feeling that it's just going to come out like that and then it's going to point that way, like, and there's obviously all the lights up here, so maybe I should just move it to encourage it. Well, it's probably too late now anyway. Okay, let's move on, because I think I've spent enough time on you. Where are they all? So I showed you this, my new baby. I actually didn't tell you how long I've had it. I've had it about a week, and yeah, there's several plants in that pot. I didn't separate those guys because they were still very much connected to the mother plant, but this one here came away from the mother plant quite easily. and it's doing really well. It's quite dramatic actually, like when it's thirsty it goes so limp. And that's its newest leaf. It hasn't grown any leaves since it's been here. It came with all of these leaves. But yeah, it also gets some natural light at certain times of the day. Just kind of drifts along here. In fact, you can see it in the back. I think that's what that is, or is that? I don't know, I'm confused. Okay, next is my Anthurium warwickwienum. This is my second warwickwienum, and it's doing this kind of weird dotty thing, which I believe happened during, well, I know it happened during a heat wave, and I believe that's because of humidity. So I'm gonna have to try and figure out what to do with these plants now that the weather in the UK gets to these temperatures. It's very new. It's a new thing for us to be putting up with. Putting up with, is that the right term? But you know, it's a different experience. We've never had such hot weather in this country. So yeah, the houses do not have AC. We're not structured for it. Okay, I'm gonna stop moaning. Let's move on. This is my Anthurium Bakeri, and this was also a gift from the same person that I met that gave me the Forgetti. He gave me 9 little seedlings. They were tiny, like, oh my gosh, they were like the top of my finger. They were tiny. And I think 5 of them survived. No, 4 of them have survived. So I have this one, and now it's getting really lovely and strappy, and you can start seeing what it's going to be as it becomes more mature. I've got another one down here, which is also throwing out some nice strappiness. And then I have 2 in a humidity bin that I'm gonna sell. So they're kind of just away from everyone in like a kind of safer environment. Because I mean, you know, all sorts of pests and stuff these plants are kind of more exposed to that. I think this is going to be my last Anthurium that I'm going to show you, although I do have one in my bedroom which I plan on selling. I might show you that one. But yeah, this one I'm so oh my gosh, why does that look blurry? Or is it just my eyes? Yeah, I'm really impressed with this one. So this was its latest leaf. Gorgeous, right? And that is natural sunlight on it right now. So it does get natural sunlight. Yeah, you can see the square of it, and it kind of goes up the wall like that. Yeah, so that was its latest leaf, and it just decided I'm going to take all the light, which is very cute. But it just shot out this new leaf. It's so dinky still. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited, because this plant, again, I've had it for 2 years. In the first year of owning it, it gave me 1 leaf, 1, whereas all the other Anthuriums were like almost every 2 months, or maybe once a month sometimes, I would get a new leaf. This one, nothing. Not even an inflorescent, actually. I don't think I've ever had an inflorescent on this plant. But this year I decided, let me just rewind. I had this plant. For some reason, I decided to put just this plant in pon. I don't know what I was thinking. But yeah, that's what I did. And I think I did like a bit of research, and a lot of people were saying you can treat it a lot like a philodendron. And my philodendrons at that time were doing really well in pon, so that could be the reason why I went down that route. But yeah, once I put it in the tree fern fibre mix, oh my gosh. I mean, look, it's not giving me a lot of leaves. I have had to cut quite a few off. I think this summer it's given me 1, 2, possibly 3 leaves throughout the whole summer. So I mean, that's like 1 every 2 months, and then I don't know what's going to happen in the winter, but yeah. Yeah, that is all my Anthuriums. Oh no, there's one. I'm exhausted actually, just on the heat and everything. I'm gonna go and grab it and I'll be right back. Okay, I am back from the hallway. I've rescued the Anthurium, Clarinervium. This is probably the second. Actually, what am I saying? Of course it's the second. So I had a Clarinervium before this one and I sold it because it just didn't grow, and also the leaves just always wanted to look at the floor. So I think the light was just too much, because actually since this one's been living in the hallway, the leaves are now behaving themselves. So maybe it could just live in the hallway or on the stairs. Yeah, maybe I could do that. Okay. So then I bought a second, actually I didn't buy a second one. The store that I used to work in, a plant shop, and they had this, we would get these massive Clarinerviums in huge pots. They were huge, they were just crazy big, and they were in semi-hydroponic, and I think they were going for about £150, but it would be like a big pot like that, full of them. And inside that pot there was about 5 separate plants, and no one wanted to buy them. I think I only managed to sell maybe 2 within the 4 years that I worked there, whereas every other plant would fly out the door. These plants, for some reason, just didn't tempt people. I think if they had just brought out the smaller versions, people would have warmed to them more, because it is quite a nice little Valentine's Day gift, you know, like the hearts and everything, and the way that they kind of stand. It has actually recently given me a new leaf, which is just so typical. It's the story of my life. Like, whenever I think I'm going to get rid of a plant, any plant, it will start just behaving really well. So yeah, that's probably the most difficult out of all of the Anthuriums for me. Although this one apparently, I've seen it written in many places that if you were to get an Anthurium, this is the one that you should begin with, which is why it was originally my very first Anthurium. I've had this one since December. So yeah, like 8 months, and yeah, if it's living here in this living room, it just points downwards and it looks ridiculous. So it's living in the hallway for now, and I do plan on selling this one. I haven't yet put it on Facebook Marketplace, but it will be going soon, because, you know, I need the staircase clear. I've got guests coming. Yeah, those are all my Anthuriums, and I don't think they're going to be enjoying this little heat wave that's happening right now. So I'll probably put something in front of the windows just to keep the room a little bit cooler, and we'll see if that works. So that's what I'm going to do. Let me know, guys, which was your favourite plant? Which one would you buy if you didn't own it? Or if you do own it, I want to know your journey. Tell me how it has performed for you. And if you've got any tips or tricks that you'd like to share with me and our little plant family here, then yeah, leave those in the comments down below. Do give me a thumbs up to show me whether you enjoyed the video. If you haven't yet hit the subscribe button, please go ahead and do that. You clearly enjoyed it, and it would be great to see you here again. If you are watching TV, there is a button that you switch down and swipe to one side, and it will show a list of, you know, whether you want to like, whether you want to subscribe. There's a thanks button as well if you would like to send a present, a gift, a financial gift. What else would be there? The notification bell would be there. I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, give me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button, guys. Come back and join me. All good things. There's always some good things, sometimes some bad things, but I do not gatekeep, and I don't pretend to have the perfect collection. So whatever happens in this house, I am gonna tell you about it. Okay. Have a fabulous week, and I will see you here again very soon. Sending lots of love. All right, bye.